I finally got my computer put back together this week, so I got
Uh-huh.
caught up on assignments, except for the redo of the fire one.
Okay.
Um, I didn't have a ton of time, so they're not particularly great, but they are done.
Okay.
I just wanted to update you that my
All
computer
right. So,
currently
uh,
functional.
so what we can do is we can take a look at those first, right? Do you have them loaded already?
Yeah, I already like submitted
Okay.
them. I just wanted to let you know that my computer seems
Okay.
to be back up and running.
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
now that I've
So,
physically rebuilt it like literally 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
yep. All right. It's still waiting for a couple other people. I'll let them in as they arrive. This is our shell. And I'm just refreshing it to see what's behind. So shade, you put them in the smoke folder.
Put the smoke in the smoke folder, and then I put
Okay.
the pixie dust in the appropriate folder as well.
Okay. Okay. And Tristan, I believe that this late or missing file here was already taken care of. So I think you're okay for that.
Okay.
Okay. So let's take a look at fire first. And so this is Angel. And we might have already seen this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that one last week. Did you do a new version yet?
No, I haven't.
All right, so I'll put a grade in there, so you gotta make it a good one,
All right.
because that one's not working yet. All right, and then Shade,
Yes.
and your fires and fire.
No, I haven't. Fire's the one I haven't had a chance to redo.
Okay,
I did smoke and I did pixie dust.
Okay.
And then I have my midterm for my other animating class due on Tuesday.
okay,
So my goal is to do that and fire this weekend.
okay. Okay, so let's take a look at Carmen.
Sorry.
Hello.
Hello, hello. I'm getting shifted here. Okay, so this is looping. All right, so Carmen, did we see the beginning of this last week?
I think so. I had like the blank spaces in between though.
But now it's clean and moving correctly.
Yay.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks
Great.
great.
Thank you.
Yay, put some hands up there for Carmen, please.
Good job, Carmen.
Thank you.
And Angel. Okay, so Angel, I'm trying to figure out how you went about this animation. This part here on the right, the very last few frames look correct.
So embarrassed.
And I think what I'm going to do is just let that play in the background rather than try to parse out what your approach was. And in doing that, what I'm going to do is just kind of quickly reiterate the process, because I think the first thing that you want to do is really give yourself the contour lines that become the nodes, so that this is going to animate into this, is going to animate into this, and then this is going to animate into this, and then into this. And then you plot out your arcs And you could do that with the top and the bottom. But, you know, quite literally, you take this sphere and over the course of 8 frames, animate it on this arc of motion here, straight out straight. So I think you're missing that concept, because I see that this is just kind of wiggling around, and you used a different approach. And I don't mind the different approaches if the animation looks okay. I remember I left you last week with the animation moving a bit too quickly. And so I was asking you to slow it down, but really literally it's like, this is drawing 1, this is drawing 1, and this is your breakdown. These are your in-betweens and then your secondary in-betweens. So see if you can try this again.
For sure.
Okay. Oops. Hold on a second, everybody. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Okay. Chloe, you're hiding.
Yeah, sorry, everything's a mess. And I don't want it on
God.
camera.
Was waiting for you for 45 minutes.
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna be in your front yard in about 10 minutes, so just beware. All right. What am I doing? Sharing screen. I'm going back to here. Okay. I'll do those all over again. All right. Angel, we just looked at yours, right? And shade. Shade, I see smoke. Okay. So shade, I think you've got, how many drawings do you have total for your smoke?
8.
8.
It's catching right
I
at
don't
the
know
end
how
of the
you,
cycle.
huh?
It's catching right at the end of the cycle.
Well, I'm looking at it cycling and I don't see the moving backwards is actually at the end of the cycle. I think it might be in the middle. So I see that this shape right here goes backwards. So I'm just going to toggle through it. So it's going forward. It's going forward. 4th drawing. 5th drawing is okay. This is a little funky. 6th drawing is okay. Again, this little loop right there. You want to make sure that this U shape, see where my mouse is?
Yeah.
That this U shape animates into this U shape. And over the course of the first 4 or 5 drawings, really kind of flattened that out.
I lost model as I was going, and then tried to correct back in the last few frames because I realized I had lost model.
And then on this drawing, I think, yeah, that one's okay. I mean, you're flattening out your U shape a little bit, but this one goes backwards. Nope. Yeah, it might very well be the first drawing. So now I'm gonna jump back to the first drawing and it goes backwards.
Yeah.
So if I do this, I can see that your first and your last drawing are very similar to each other. And so if I count drawings, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you don't need the 9th drawing.
Okay.
Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, your eighth drawing is making it move backwards.
Let me remove the 8th and then export it and see how it cycles.
So I think it'll work better if you remove that 8th frame. It's kind of a odd thing to only have 7 drawings in a cycle.
Mhm.
It's looking okay. I think that you might want to go back in there and just see if you can get those U-shaped arcs to work a little better.
Yeah, when I
But I
touched
don't
the
think you need to
8th,
redo it. It's certainly something that you can just tweak a little bit. So here's the aesthetic, right? Is that this frame in particular, I think it's like drawing number 5, your smoke is looking really flat right here, which is fine, except that you've got it really nice right here. So by the time you get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you've really kind of flattened out your arc. So
I got
You-
like caught up in making sure that the nodes were
Yeah.
progressing where I wanted them to, and
Yeah.
then like forgot to pay attention to the model.
right,
I apologize.
I think you can still tweak this.
Yeah,
So
I just
drawing
need to
5
go
and
in there.
6, 7 starts to go back to the nice little curve. So, and again, this drawing is very similar to that drawing. So I think you only need to tweak these 2 drawings right here.
Yeah,
And take
5
the
6
last one
just
out.
need to
See how
have
that
those
works.
curves recleaned. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Vivian. Yep, okay, that's very good. You have a total of 16 drawings, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's looking very good.
Okay, thank you.
I like how this little outside puff of smoke magically appears right there. That's good. Yeah, it looks great. Timing is good. Shapes are okay. Looks great. See some hands here for Vivian, please. Looks great. Yay! I'm going to refresh my screen. See if anybody's posting. Magnus.
I did re-upload my smoke, but I put it in the smoke folder, not the.
So this one's from last week?
That's Magnus's, that's not mine.
Oh, who was talking? I didn't see that.
That was me, Ryan.
Ryan, okay. I should be able to get to it here in a second. Magnus, this looks okay.
Hey, Billy, sorry, I was in the bathroom.
Ew! Everyone's here tonight. Yay! Magnus, this looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. I was in the bathroom.
Oh, gross. I don't want to hear that. Yeah, this looks great. Okay, perfect. I see some hands from Magnus, please. Yay! All right, one more time. All right, this is Ryan. Yeah, okay, this looks good too. It's somewhat magical that this little puff of smoke comes up and to the left, but that's okay. I think that you can tweak this a little bit. I'm gonna let that play here. And so, right, I'm talking about right here. See how that puffs out right there? Right here, see that?
Right.
Right there.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, you can just let it be what it is, but try on the frames where this part of the smoke is. Let me, I'm just gonna take a guess that this is like either drawing 6 or drawing 7 right there. And see if you can lead into that drawing by having a outside curve animate up into it this way. Just try it. And if you want to, you can go and take the smoke file that you're working with and copy and paste the whole folder or the whole file and work with a new one, because this is working. But see if you can get like the outside curve to move upwards as it comes out of the chimney, rather than just kind of magically poofing up.
Okay.
It would just improve it a little bit, that's all.
Okay.
It looks good, looks good.
Thank you.
Yep. Delilah,
Hello.
hello, hello. Highlight and shadows.
I tried.
I always have to be careful when I'm playing with my mouse. I have a Mac and an Apple mouse, and the Apple mouse will automatically animate it because I'm just doing the swipe forward and swipe backwards. You've got one little part that's going backwards. So I'm going to go to your first frame. Everything is second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth drawing, seventh drawing, eighth drawing, 9 drawing, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the thing that's probably making it move backwards is a hookup between the last drawing and the first drawing. Let me play it again. Oh, I think I see what's going on. So there's just one little error, and I think it's right here. So let's just I think that part's fine. This is drawing 4, drawing 5, 7. So 8, this is drawing 8, drawing 9, drawing 10, and 11, 12, 13.
Oh,
The very last drawing, it's this part right here is just moving backwards.
okay.
See it right there? So I'm going backwards, forwards.
Yes.
So, and it's the last drawing that needs to just be tweaked. And it's just that little hookup, that little outside curve right there. Other than that, I think it looks pretty good.
Okay.
You're
Thank
happy?
you.
Okay. Yay! All right, refresh. All right, what I think I would like to do is I'm just gonna stop sharing here for just a moment. How did this go? How did your smoke go? Did you think that I talked about it way too long, or was it confusing? Seemed like all of you kind of captured it. How much time did it take? Deborah, you're the only one who's looking at me. Carmen,
I mean,
how
it took
long
me,
did it take?
I think it took me like 2-ish hours,
3?
but a lot of it was like staring and wondering if I was doing it right.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that happens. Animators do that all the time. You should give it a name, actually.
Just existential animation staring.
Yeah, animation glaze. Carmen, how long did it take you?
I mean, my first attempt took like an hour and a half, I think, but I was kind of confused by the video. And then when I just started like following my own marks, it took me like an hour on the second
Okay.
attempt.
That's not too bad. Hopefully it
Yeah.
wasn't too frustrating. Deborah?
I didn't finish my smoke yet.
No? Okay, that's
Oh,
okay.
no.
Chloe? How long did it take you?
Oh, I still have to do my breakdowns.
Oh, you miserable tick.
I know.
All right, for everybody else who didn't upload it yet, is it because you haven't started or is it because you're being frustrated with it?
I haven't started it yet.
Okay. James? What do you think?
For the smoke, I uploaded it last week. Do you mean like redo it?
No, I'm just trying to get a gauge.
Oh,
of-
how long it took? It took a while. Like it took a while. I chased it around. Like I tried a bunch of other stuff and then went back to it, kind of got it, but still kind of like not amazing. I think.
So, but you didn't upload it.
Huh?
You didn't upload it.
Oh, I uploaded it last week, the smoke.
You did.
Yeah, we went over
In which folder?
the smoke folder. Like I did it. I actually uploaded it twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it should be in there. I mean, if not, I can.
No, it's there. It's there.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right. Let me go back here. All right, so I will look at those. I'm not going to put any grades in there this week. So I'll give you all an extension on the smoke for another week, if that's okay. Is that okay, everybody?
So do you want us to go back over it and add highlights and do that? The highlights?
Well, it's up to you. I think that everything that you're getting out of this class is stuff that you want to put on your website or put on your show reel. So it just makes it a little more interesting, a little more presentable, but it really is truly up to you. And you can tell by now that I'm giving you very specific feedback, right? I'm showing you how to do it the correct way. And then when we get to the feedback, I'm giving you everything I see. I'm telling you exactly what I see. But then, you know, I'm like the soft grader, right? It's like, I'm only going to take a few points off if it's going backwards at one point, because I know that if you are honest about doing this and you're doing the work, that at some point or another, your light bulb is going to come on and go, oh, I understand what Billy meant. I think I can do it perfectly now, you know, and I'm talking like during the summer, you know, or even autumn semester stuff doesn't, your light bulb doesn't have to go on when I want it to. Your light bulb goes on, it's up to you. All right, so having said that, let's take a look at our pixie dust. And it looked like I only had a few of them in there.
I busted that out today.
Yeah. How long? How many hours?
Oh, not even an hour. Like I kicked through it. I mean, well, it might have been, I don't know. I listened to music and I zoned out,
Right, okay.
but I didn't think that it was any more than an hour.
All right, so this is
Oh, I forgot the spark thing.
Carmen.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks great. It's exactly what
Thank
you're
you.
doing. Exactly the fun quality. It's falling, you've got popping. I think that now you can realize that if you've got more time, if this thing was supposed to be 8 seconds, or like I showed you the Cinderella moment, if you had 10 seconds and you know, if you were getting paid to do that you could certainly put in the cloud behind it and add color and brush. But this is exactly what I want. Carmen, everybody, but what fat flipper is the other for Carmen.
Well done, Carmen.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I remember the main drive here is for me, for you to make it, have fun with it. That's your main thing. Animation should be fun. I know that some parts are confusing and not easy to understand, but ultimately, the animation should be fun. All right, Deborah, this looks great. Yep, that looks great. Yes, woohoo! Pixie dust for days, one more time.
I forgot to do this sparkle.
That looks great.
That looks great.
James, watch that file name. It's getting a little long. You're,
What was he doing in there?
huh?
Did I call it something weird?
No, it's like pixie dust. He wrote pixie dust out.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
Oh, yeah.
saying,
Oh, my
I'm
apologies.
saying you don't need to do that. You just write PD, pixie dust.
Okay, yeah. Okay, my apologies.
Nope.
It needs to drop. There's a bunch of things. The other ones are just so pretty. And that one, mine kind of just looks like a terrible kind of tail thing.
Well, I think that what you've got is you've got a piece of cloth that's dragging behind, which I think is fine. So I think what you need to do is just add the falling stuff. And so it's easier for me to just pick a frame. Like right in here is a really good example. So on this one, the pixie dust that's trailing behind, all the way behind it. And I'm gonna have to like, hold on one second. I selected something odd, hold on. There we go. So yeah, I think the only thing you need to do is add the stuff that's falling. And so if your orb is over here, right? The new sparkles are going to be here, right? And then all of these have to fall just a little bit. So all you have to do is add the falling part to your frames, and I think you've got it.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think you need to erase anything. I think you just need to add the falling bits.
Cool. Thank you. And
Yep.
yeah, the other ones before me just look really good. So
Well, I think yours will look good too in just a moment.
yeah, they
That's
had
only going to take like 20 minutes to fix it.
okay, yeah, cool.
Really.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
fix your file name,
Yes, and the file name. Right on. Thank you.
MFG. Sorry for swearing. Well, now how did that happen? That's weird. Do you guys can you see that?
The red line.
There's a big red line on my screen. Why is that big red line there?
I think it's from when you were drawing the dots on. As an example.
Yep. All right, Chloe. You're still working on the smoke, but you did your pixie dust.
Yeah, but I think mine too needs more of the falling stuff. Because it's really short.
And longer, right?
Yeah.
So it needs to be 4 times longer and falling. The timing looks okay. The initial sparkle looks okay. But yeah, it needs to be 3 or 4 times longer, and the falling and the exploding stars.
All right.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Chloe.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Oh,
job, Chloe.
keep doing that. Shade.
Present.
That's not what I was doing. 1280 by 720.
Yeah, I don't know why it shifted. It always like I keep changing it to 1280 by 720, and every time I open Toon Boom, it goes back to the other size.
You're in Toon Boom. So hold on one second.
Yeah, I didn't have enough money for whatever. the other program is.
Did you say you're working in Toon Boom?
Yeah, I already owned it, so I didn't buy another program.
No, that's okay. I think that the default is 1920 by 1080.
It is, and I don't know how to change it.
And the one way to change this, and let me just do this, because all of you may have to take a Toon Boom class.
Toon Boom's the default for intro to animation.
Right.
Which is what my other class.
So here it says 1080, right? You see
Yeah,
it?
so I click that and I change it to 720.
No,
but it
no,
always
you
changes back.
You change it to 720, and then you double check, it says 1280 by 720.
Yeah, that's what I've done for the previous ones. I just forgot to do it on this one.
You
and
should,
it always
okay, so you
changes
just forgot to
back.
do it on this one.
Yeah, the default is always the big one. I just. forgot
I'm
do
gonna
it on
quit
this one.
Harmony. Harmony didn't start, okay. Okay, so Shade, I think you've got a good start here.
Yeah.
You as well need, hey, you as well need maybe just a third longer and falling.
Yeah.
Because you've definitely got the fabric that's moving behind it. You know, you've got like an electric bandana that's dragging behind it. And so I think it needs to just be a little longer, but you definitely have to get the stuff that's falling because it doesn't look that way yet.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the act of adding that bit that behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Would you rather?
Shade, everybody, put your fat flippers together for Shade. Yay!
Oh, it's not necessary, but thank you.
And Magnus.
Hello. This took a lot longer than I thought it would.
Well, it doesn't take 10 minutes, that's for sure.
Nope.
But as long as you follow those rules, it shouldn't take you 4 hours either. And I can see why it took you a long time, because you got a pretty dense field of sparkles, right?
Yep.
Like especially right in here. So if I go backwards a few frames and forwards a few frames, I think that what you want to try to avoid is the jet stream. You definitely want to avoid that. And you've got it happening like for almost every single frame. So I think that what you need is more of a random dispersion of the sparkles. And I don't think that you need to do anything else except add some on the outside. Right? You just, it's like a sparkler. It's throwing off electrical light, and it should not be contained so cleanly in a jet stream. If we look at it one more time, I think that then on any given frame, the random quality is going to help you with the sparkles that are falling. So you're going to just, it's probably only the question of just a few little sparkles here and there. And then remember above and below, and then just get those to fall.
Yeah.
I think that's all you need to do is just add them. Make sure that you're not spending forever adding them. But the primary motion looks good. Why is this doing that? Okay. Yeah, your primary action looks good. Just get the dispersion a little bit and get it to fall a little bit more too.
Okay.
Looks good. Thank you, Magnus.
Thanks.
Yay! All right, I'm going to refresh my screen. Did anyone else just upload? Yes, I got Kyle.
Hello. I think getting the falling is going to be the one main thing I need to add in still.
Yeah, you've got another thing happening though. So your orb comes in. And I think it's just a little crazy town. It's a little bit of crazy talk,
Gotcha.
probably to have this much dust falling that early.
Yeah.
So if your orb is just coming in, it's like, it's inconceivable that there's that much dust falling right there.
Mhm.
You know, I keep saying, make it fall, make it fall, make it fall, but whoo, you know, this is a little much.
Yeah.
That's just a little much. And then I think that there's an actual error. So you've got the orb going this way. Yeah, I think that what happens is that the orb does this little loop over right here.
Mhm.
And that so the orb only did, I can't draw and animate at the same time. I'm just gonna let this play and I'll annotate.
Yeah, I
it
think
for
it's
you.
that the tail, the sparkles don't really follow the path as well is probably the main thing.
So I'm gonna get that to loop. And I'm gonna just give you a couple of hints.
Mhm.
So you're gonna have to just kind of watch what's happening. So you've got this, you know, it does something like that. You know, I got most of it, right? You know, not this one. It goes out about that far.
Yeah.
All right, so I got most of it. So when the orb is coming in over here, there's you got a nice big orb. And I think that what's happening is that you've got, if you're doing this correctly, the orb that when it was here would have sparkles and falling, right?
Yeah.
When the orb would be here, you would have a few that would be spitting out and falling, and you've got all this stuff over here.
Yeah.
So I don't think that that's incorrect in terms of magic, but it's just incorrect in terms of what this is. You know, it should be generating sparks.
Yeah.
And to have it kick out in this area over here, it's just your eye is just a little confused by it. I think that what you can do is maybe go back in and just kind of get rid of some of the ones, especially just right here on
Okay.
that part of the loop, because the other ones aren't quite so egregious. And then I think that on any particular given frame, you've definitely got the sparkle. It's definitely sparkling. But like you said, I think that you just got to get the falling stuff, because it's definitely sparkling, but it's not falling.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
so fix this part here just a little bit, and then get the falling part to work.
Okay.
Whatever it's worth, that's like the hardest part. It's always hard trying to keep track of all of that, but it looks pretty good.
Thank you.
Okay. Computer is like freaking me out right now. Hold on a second. All right, there we go. Ryan.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Okay, it looks pretty good. What application did you use to make this?
This was in Harmony.
It's in Harmony. So you got one of your brushes.
Yes.
I can see that you got that brush working. And I think that what you have is okay, but it does kind of look like a fish.
Mm,
So you got to add the sparkles that are
Right.
falling.
the little.
And in order to make it look
explosions.
like pixie dust, get those exploding stars in there.
Yeah.
If you're in Harmony, do you know how to use your nodes?
I've used it a few times. I haven't used the node view a whole lot though.
I am gonna be honest, I don't even know what tool you're talking about.
Okay, no,
so-
I'm gonna show you. It's not that hard, and for the people who are using Harmony, it's just one of the cooler things you can do with Harmony. So,
I feel like there's so many things that I could be doing with Harmony, but I'm.
oh yeah,
already
this
drowning
is an
in terms
intense
of, like,
application. In fact, Harmony almost rivals Maya in terms of how complicated it can become. All right, so
Yeah,
this is my
the
demo
impression
for
I've
Pixie
gotten.
Dust that I did for the Academy class. And I didn't finish it. I only got up to about frame 105. Let me play that one more time. All right, so the actual traditional way to work doing Pixie Dust included a step that we couldn't do because not all of you were using Harmony. So what we have is on any particular frame, what I did is I animated the orb just like we did. But on any particular frame in the traditional 2D animation, you take your pencil and you just use the side of your pencil and you just kind of brush in a cloud of where you think the pixie dust is going to be. And you animate the cloud first. You animate the cloud spitting out the sparkle and falling just as a bunch of graphite. It's black on white paper. That's all you do. And let me, in this version, I called it the cloud. And I'm gonna up the cloud a little bit because I took it down. And now I can't see my cloud, hold on. Oh, there we go. All right, so it automatically created keyframes here, and I'm going to turn off the pick my sparkles. So I animated just this, and animating just this, I believe you can see that I use this dusty pastel brush. And so in Harmony, you have a pencil or a brush, and a brush, you use this the dusty pastel, about 84 pixels or more even, and you just animate or you just draw. Sorry, I just drew in black on black. You'll never see that. So that was the dust. I use this layer, and what you get, oh, I'm sorry. What you end up getting is a field like this. And you got to be careful because that's not what you want your pixie dust to look like. What you want the dust to look like is just a bunch of little graphite marks behind the orb. And so as you're using this like charcoal brush, and I'm just doing like tons of little marks behind it. I go to the next keyframe and I do the same thing. I'm just adding in like a little field with, and sometimes this gets you through a whole bunch of your animation. And then what you do is, because you've drawn it, now this is a little rough right here. I think that I would try to make the field, the shape a little bit more even. But what you try to do then is you go back into your node view here. And so this is what the node view looks like. But then you got to go to your node library. And in the node library, what do you want to do? I'm going to add a transparency. So you just take from the node view and you drag the transparency right into this node view, and it just sits there. And so now what you have to do is, you're doing that. That's all you're doing. So go back to the timeline and identify what you want to put this transparency on. So I believe that I put the transparency on the cloud layer. So this cloud layer, I just touched it, and you can see that it's already highlighted over here. Now, one thing that you want to do is you can see that these little nodes are right on top of each other. And so you select everything by hitting Command A, and then this first button right here, you just hit separate everything by 25 pixels and say okay, and then everything gets nice and pushed out around. Everything's got its own little space. You can use your space bar as a hand tool in here, and then this is just logic. So if you've got the cloud with a blur and a transparency and they're feeding into each other, into the composite. So if I take this transparency and I put it anywhere else, like on the background, I'm going to take the background, I'm going to put it above it. It's going to feed into the transparency. And then I'm going to put the background back into the composite. And now all of a sudden the background is gray because the background has a automatic 50% transparency on it. So if I take it to 0, it's black again. If I take it up to 80, and now it's gray. So that's how you deal with the transparency. 100% transparent is clear. If it's 0% transparent, then there's nothing happening at all. But this is the logic of how you use the node view and the timeline together in Toon Boom. It's not hard. It's just more than likely something that you haven't done before. If you have a PC, I have come to understand that if you wanted to put, like, let's say this glow, I'm going to put a glow node in here just anywhere. I'm going to go back to the timeline. And let's say that you wanted to put a glow between the orb and the composite. If you have a PC, I've been told if you take this glow node and you just shake it right here, that it'll automatically connect it, but it doesn't do it for a Mac. So for glow, I would put the orb is glowing and then into the composite, and everything is a logical flow right there. Again, you select everything, hit this little button and just say overlap things by 25 pixels, and then everything is viewable like that. All right, and then in the timeline, even the orb has a glow on it, which just has an RGB value, and then an intensity of 1, which is like normal. And this part can be just a little confusing if you're and I'm gonna turn this off here in just a moment, that basically what you want to do is you just want to see what happens if you were putting a glow of just red, green, or blue and see what happens to this orb. It's kind of a trial and error thing. In order to see how it's actually working, you've got to switch from the, come on, Toon Boom, wake up, from the OpenGL view. And then this is the render view right here, this little flower. And my computer's not behaving, the render view. So you click the render view, just say render, and then that'll show you what this frame is looking like. So if I go back to my orb and I say, I'm going to take this intensity down a little bit, then I can't see it. If I take the intensity up a little bit, then it becomes too much. You can take the glow in this mode and turn it off and see what it looks like on and off, on and off. And this stuff just gets added in here and it makes it look confusing, but it's not. You just have to break it down. You've got nodes in the cloud, nodes on the orb, nodes on the arc, nodes on the background. And what you don't want to do is what I did with this transparency node, and that is add keyframes that are in weird places. And that's only because my cursor was sitting there. All right, so I'm going to put this away and I'm not going to save it. And I'm going to turn Toon Boom off. Oh, it already turned itself off. Okay. All right, so where was I here? Did that make sense for you, Toon Boom people?
Very relative.
I know that could be confusing. That part of Toon Boom I usually spend about a half hour on with the Academy class, but because not everyone has Toon Boom, I don't even do Toon Boom. Okay, so where were we? Do we, Ryan, we already saw yours?
Yeah, my basic approach with Toon Boom
Yes.
is do what you need to do to get the assignments in. This summer, I plan on taking some time to try and like learn it a little bit better if I can.
Originally, Toon Boom was purchased an application called US Animation. And we were using US Animation at Wild Brain, and it was like the most complicated 2D animation application ever designed by anybody. And they bought it and they called it Toon Boom. And they just put the Toon Boom shell on it, kind of like Flash did with Macromedia, kind of like Adobe did with Flash when they bought Flash from Macromedia. But Toon Boom realized that they wanted to compete with Flash directly. And they didn't have a big problem with this because Flash is a bugger of an application. Flash was meant to be a web design tool, and no one was supposed to be animating in it. The full story goes is that the engineers were just designing the stuff to make web pages. And then their team came to them and said, well, in order for any website to work, your mouse has to have an overstate or neutral, and then an overstate. So something has to tell the user that your mouse is over something. And then you have a click or a down state, and then a release. So in Flash, you needed neutral, hover, down, and released. You needed 4 frames. And so the engineer said, okay, we'll give you 4 frames for every element in Flash. And instead of giving the team 4 frames, they made it 1,800 frames. And at that point, Wild Brain's like, you just give us 1,800 frames, and they were trying to animate it. And Flash would crash every 4 minutes. It would clash. So you'd move something, save, move something, save. Toon Boom was kind of the same thing for the first couple of versions, except that it was just one hell of an application to begin with. And as soon as the engineers really kind of tore it apart and rebuilt it, put it back together again, they wanted to compete with Flash. They wanted to compete with everybody. And now they're even competing with Shotgun, with their producer application. They're competing with everybody. They want to rule the animation world. And so you can embed Flash files inside of Toon Boom. You can put an animated 3D Maya background inside of Toon Boom, and it'll live there. And you can animate 2D characters on top of a 3D background. It's crazy. You know, it's also very complicated. Their competitors are TV Paint and Psy and Procreate. And there's lots of people getting good work out of all of them. The big two are Toon Boom and TV Paint. Toon Boom and TV Paint. Just something to register in the back of your mind. All right, Delilah, did we see your pixie dust already?
Not yet.
Okay. Sorry, I got myself on a roll there.
Who are we to interrupt a roll?
Yeah. Okay, that looks great.
Thank
Looks
you.
really good. Are you happy? You got to be happy with it. It looks great.
Yes.
Pixie
I'm
dust. Yay! Maybe a little bit more on the top and bottom, especially the bottom.
Okay.
Just a few little bits, not too much. And it looks like you're having fun with it. It looks great.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
looks
you.
great. Yes. Yay! All right. Refresh. Sorry, refresh. What do I got? Tristan.
Yep.
All right, moving too fast. And right in here, your pixie dust should be trailing behind it for a few drawings. So your pixie dust was moving in this arc right here. And your pixie dust was actually moving pretty fast. So if you were staying true to the directions, all of these little sparkles are in the wrong place. So for this orb right here, the correct approach would be is that you go back and forth random from the direction of the arc. And then the ones that were on this one would be falling a little bit. This one would be falling a little bit, so that the main shape of the tail, the trail of sparks should look like this, not like this. So
Okay.
those are wrong. So you've got this, not only do you have like a tail, but the tail's not moving in the right direction. It's like, it's almost like a bandana that is stuck behind it. And it doesn't look like sparks because it's just, I don't know what to say. Go back and look at my directions again. You've got some of it, but like that part right there, this is incorrect. The sparkles, especially moving so fast, it would never move like that.
I accidentally put too much focus on the falling.
Right, but also remember that it should be trailing behind.
Right.
They're very, very light flashes of burning metal. You know, they're little embers of magic. And but they don't weigh very much. They're very, very light. So the orb spits them out and then they sparkle as they fall. So that's what you should be thinking about when you're animating this, is that the orb spits them out along the arc of motion, and then they fall slowly through the air. But I think the first thing that you want to do is get your orb to move slower. It's moving too fast. You don't happen to be at 30 FPS, or did you?
No, it did it 24 frames per second.
All right, and this is telling me three seconds, which would be the total of 72 frames. How many frames are in the actual cycle?
It's 64.
Yeah, try to take it up to 120.
Okay.
And slow it down and look at Pixie Dust. Look at my effects board on Pinterest. And see if you can take another stab at it.
I will.
All right, Tristan. Thank you, Tristan. All right, I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to look and see, did I miss anybody for Pixie Dust? All right, some people are catching up. All right, let us take a short break. Let's come back at 7:45. So you have like a 13-minute break. And then we'll pick up where we left off. Take a 13-minute break. Hot dogs and mustard. Ketchup. All right. Stop it with the dad jokes, Billy. All right, so what I thought I would do is just do a bomb exploding. And remember that there was a certain logic between the flag waving and fire. Flag waving and fire, and then moving into smoke, because it's just the flag is moving this way, the fire moves straight up, or if there's a little bit of a breeze, the smoke, the waves move basically the same kind of theory. So you're not really stretching your conceptual part of your head, you're just kind of applying it in different places. So a bomb exploding is actually pretty easy. All right, let me make sure that I got things turned on correctly. I am going to open up Rough Animator. All right, so there's really just a couple of concepts here. You want a bomb exploding. So like I do almost every single time, we're just going to do 2D drawing, bomb. All right, so I've got some things happening here. This perfectly a spherical bomb. It's very typical of pirates or what have you. But what I'm looking for is the explosion part of it. So it says 2D drawing bomb. I'm going to put 2D animation drawing bomb. All right, so now we're getting closer. This is interesting. You can see that there's a little flash and it's a little bit of smoke. We can take a look at this one and see that, boy, there's a lot of frames in there. This is a sprite sheet, and sprite sheets are generated either out of Unity or Flash or Toon Boom and are applied to games. So this is just a sequence of 36 frames where something in the background has exploded. We're not going to do 36 frames. We're not going to do, this is just well, no, this is sequential. This is kind of what we're doing, but we're going to do ours actually even a little simpler. We're going to do something like this, but even more simple. And I'm not seeing what I'm looking for here. And as I go further down, it's getting further and further from the truth. 2D animation, drawing, bomb, explosion. All right, so now I'm narrowing it a little bit. I'm going to click on this because this is kind of what I'm looking for. There's 9 drawings right here. It's kind of what I'm going for. And I'm not seeing the reference to John Hallis, Harold Whitaker. And again, I'm pulling that right out of the textbook that I recommend for this class. This one's close, but let me put in timing for animation. See if I can get even closer. Let me take out drawing. See if I can get closer. All right, so this should have brought me where I want. 2D animation. I have the word animation in there, so I'm going to change this to 2D drawing. And you're right, I should try to remember how I find this. I was considering doing a water splash for next week, but I'm kind of changing my mind as we're going. This drawing is from the John Hallis book. This is from the John Hallis Harold Whitaker book. So what I think I'd like to do is see if I can find a really clean version of this. Now it's just a right click, and now my computer's thinking about it. Timing and oscillation movement. So I don't know if I've seen this, but this looks like a E version of the timing for animation book, which is really great. So I'm going to drop that in the chat. If I can find the chat. So I just put that in the chat. So go ahead and look at that. That's really nice. The other thing that I'm going to do is jump over to our classroom. And I'm going to put it in the discussion area. so you can find it. And I'm just going to call this one ebook. And I'm going to publish that. All right, so what I want then is this. This is what I want. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to right click it and say, save this image. And it's showing up as a JPEG, that's good.
I
So
don't
I'm
think
like-
you're sharing your screen.
Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna come back. So I'm going back to share. All right, so what I've done is I've peeled this JPEG and I'm gonna put that JPEG, and I don't have my chat anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the classroom. And so this is the ebook that I just showed you. And I'm gonna do another discussion. And I'm just going to call this one bomb reference. And I'm just going to say hi, and I'm going to choose the file. I'm going to see what that file is called. It starts with a 9. So it's this one. All right, so that's coming into your discussion as just a JPEG. So you can always grab it. Today's March 9th, and I'm going to let it go to the end of May, and I'm going to publish it. All right, so you've got a bunch of things in the discussion area. Just always remember that there's a recordings of your classes. There's a bunch of stuff I put in there. All right, so let me go back to this. So let me explain a couple of things about this JPEG. You have the bomb, and there's an explosion. And you can see that there's a big star, and then the shards of the bomb start coming out. The star gets bigger, and then the big star overtakes the entire screen, and then it changes. Then it becomes a black star, and there's a little bit of smoke. And then the smoke gets bigger, and then there's a black frame, and then a bunch of smoke that just clears. Over here, this is a different kind of explosion. We're not going to do this one. And this one is just a very simple pop. This one is just a little too simple, but I like it. The House and the John Howes and Harold Whitaker book, you know, I can't say more great things about that book. It's just really great. So we're going to concentrate on these 14 drawings right here. But I think that what we're going to do is we're going to treat it just a little bit more cinematically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same kind of procedure that we did, or that I always do for anything that we're animating, and follow the same kind of process. We have a background. So on the background here, I'm just going to pick an earth tone color, some brown color, and I'm going to give myself a background line that is at or around the cinematic third. And I'm just going to let it sit there. My layer 1 is going to be my layout. I'm going to try to spell layout correctly. I'm going to modify, I'm going to put another layer. This layer 2 here, I'm going to call it the, we don't need arcs for real, but let's just call this layer 2, we'll just give it a couple of dots just to start with. All right, and then I'm going to give myself a bomb layer. And I'm going to give another layer. And this layer 4, this is going to be the fuse. I think I spelled fuse correctly. All right, so how do I want this arranged? Background on the bottom. I want the bomb. The layout should be underneath everything. The fuse should be on top. And then I want flash. I don't know if I can, I think that's fine. I'm gonna put whatever smoke we draw on the flash layer. So I'm gonna put underscore smoke. Come on, underscore. It's not behaving. Underscore S for smoke. All right, so the background, I'm gonna take the background out. I'm gonna take this layer right here out. Remember that 120 frames is 5 seconds. So if I just take this and keep clicking all the way out to 120 frames, remember that our timeline zoom is here. So let's keep going. We're not going to need all these frames. I'm just going to start there. All right, layout. First drawing on the layout. I'm going to use a typical animator's rough blue color. And, you know, at this point, we could put the bomb in the middle. That's fine. So somewhere off center, maybe. And I'm just going to kind of give myself a bomb. I'm going to give myself a cartoon version of that little place where the fuse sits in there. And I'm going to give myself a fuse. All right, then this is the area where the bomb is going to explode. On my layout, when the bomb explodes, it's going to create a part of the background that will be broken or shattered. And I'm going to make this 3-dimensional by just dropping these lines down. And I'm just doing this roughly because we're going to fix this in a moment. All right, so then on my layout, I want a fuse. So the fuse is going to have like pixie dust coming out of it. The layout is going to also include maybe a little wisp of smoke. And then the flash. So the flash is going to be from the center of the bomb, and it's going to be out in all directions. And then in the layout, there will be a little smoke. This is different smoke than what we did last week. This smoke just goes away. It flashes and it goes away. So don't be terrified that we're doing smoke twice. All right, so that's my layout. I'm going to take the opacity of the layout down. And I'm going to go to my bomb. And with the black, I'm just going to draw the bomb. I'm going to paint it. And, you know, I really don't like that. So I'm going to zoom in on it and just kind of fix it. We're only going to need one of these guys anyway. And I'm going to put that little entry point on it, and I'm going to color it. And we're going to leave that bomb. We're going to take that bomb out to probably about 32 frames or so, maybe a little longer. It's just going to sit there for that whole time. All right, so this fuse, then we want to draw the fuse in like a yellow color, like a rope color. So this fuse here, we're just going to give ourselves a little fuse. That's on its own layer. So we're going to take that out to like frame 24 just for I'm going to bring it down to like 18. So just start right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it look like a rope by giving ourselves just a little coil on it. All right. And so then the fuse is also going to have the sparks on it as well. Okay, so what else do we need? We got this background is going to trade out, and we will diminish this one here. So our explosion is going to happen about if we just make it 48 frames, that's 2 seconds. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a background layer after this. Oh, hold on, I did something bad. Oh, I'm going to use this one right here. So this one I'm going to add a drawing after. And for this one, our background is going to change into the layout. So let me get this layout out here. And this will make sense as soon as I start explaining the frame count here. And I am going to take this out dependently all the way to the end of 2 seconds. That's good. All right, so on this is going to be our, this little ellipsis is our background explosion. So I'm going to go back to this kind of the earthy brown color. And at this point right here, I'm just going to copy. Oops, hold on. What the ground looks like after the bomb explodes. And I think I'm doing it this way just because I don't want you all to skip this step. There's a little bit of drawing. All right, now make these parts that you can see go straight down. And draw the ones that are in the back a little lighter. Something like that. Okay, so that background trades out. So the background, and all of a sudden right here, that part will show up. Okay, so on the bomb layer, it's going to sit there. Our fuse is here. We're going to go back to 100%. We're going to look at this. So the first thing that I want to do is just draw some fuse working in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about this just for a second. I'm going to take this back down to 8 frames and just think about what I've got on my screen. And I'm going to, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it down to, I'm going to take it to 2 frames. And I'm going to copy this fuse right here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to add a drawing and I'm going to paste it in place and then just erase a little bit. Add a drawing, paste it in place. Oh, I'm sorry, wait. That we could do, that's fine. So erase a little bit more, add a drawing afterwards, paste it in place. I don't know why it's taking me to my selection tool, but just erase a little bit more. So every time, add a drawing, paste in place, and erase the fuse so you can see the previous drawing just a little bit. Add a drawing, paste in place. Again, I don't know why Rough Animator is taking me back to my selection tool, but that's okay, we can work with it. Add a drawing, paste, erase, add a drawing, paste, erase, go back, erase, we missed a piece. Add a drawing, paste, erase. All right, add a drawing, paste, erase. Add a drawing, paste, erase. Add a drawing, paste, erase. Maybe two more. Add a drawing, erase. All right, and I think that's all we need. Let's check we're on frame 25, 26. I think that's fine. So with this fuse here, what we're going to do is we're going to add a drawing. We're not going to put anything there. And we're going to add a drawing, and we're going to add a drawing, and we're going to add a drawing. Just a bunch of nothing. All right. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to just see what we've got just in terms of our bomb. I'm going to turn my layout off. And I'm going to play this. And that's moving okay. I stopped the playback. I just wanted to check and see, right? I'm thinking to myself, and it's moving pretty quick. So that's fine. So I'm going to go here, and you can see that that little replacement of the background kind of already makes it look like an explosion just already as it is. All right, so what we want here is our fuse is diminishing as it's getting eaten away. We're just going to do pixie dust. We're going to try to get the brightest yellow that we can find, and we're going to just on the fuse layer, we're going to add the pixie dust. This, I'm sorry, what am I doing here? Oh, I got my erasing tool. So what we're going to be doing is just adding just a bunch of little lines like this, just a bunch. And then you come to this one and make sure, just like the pixie dust, that they're not in the same place. And look, they're changing direction a little bit. So then I'm going to go to the next drawing and just go really quickly. It's like sparkler for sure. It's just coming right off the end of the fuse. Next drawing. So it's going this way now a little bit. Next drawing, this way. It's just coming straight off of that fuse rope. It's the same kind of thing with the pixie dust. You don't want the particles to be in the same place or they'll freeze in time and space. So you just a few main little sparks coming out of there. This is like the big ones. All right, and then we just got a few and then a few more. Now it's starting to go the other way. Now it's starting to come up a little bit. And that was the last one right there. Okay, so now go back here and add an orange series of little dots, just like we did before. They cannot be in the same place. The sparkle is just a few of them. You can put an exploding one in there if you want, so that when you get to here, it's just that plus a little bit. Next one, a little bit more, and a little bit. So this is the orange part. Just a few. This is the gunpowder that's just kind of hanging off the end of it. Just a few little sparkles. Okay, then red, go back to the beginning and just put some hot red in there. Same thing, you're just gonna make sure that they're not in the same place. Just a few little red ones, maybe even an open circle. I'm using the arrow key to go more quickly. All right, so then this is the blue here is showing up as the last frame that we just drew. So let's see what this looks like. And it sure does look like the fuse right there. So on these frames right here, let's switch to a gray. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn our layout back on. And we're just going to get a little wisp of smoke. So we already did our smoke, but this time it's just going to be on here. It's just going to come out and grow just a little bit. And then on this one, it's going to grow. It's going to come up a little bit more. And it's going to grow and come up just a little bit more. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm making it look like a snake. And now I'm getting it to curl. And go up and dissipate. And, oh, sorry, I didn't take that. And then it's just going to turn into nothing. One more drawing, turn into nothing. All right, so let's see what we've got. All right, so this smoke is moving just a little too fast. So what I want to do is I want to take the beginning of the smoke part and slow it down by adding a drawing to each one of these. So now it's on 3s. Let's take a look at what just that little fuse smoke looked like on 3s. All right, I don't think I want it to be even that fast, so I'm going to put it on 4s. Oops, hold on. So for the little fuse smoke that we just did, now I'm adding it one more frame to each drawing, and it's on 4s. Okay, oops, 4s. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so that's fine. What I'm going to do here, though, is I want my bomb to still be here. So I'm going to take this out. And here is the logic behind the explosion. Here's the logic, is that from the layout, your bomb is sitting there, the fuse goes in, the little smoke comes out and goes away. And then there's a pause. On the layout, you have fuse, smoke, pause, and then the explosion itself. But this pause is what will really help read. So let's play this again. Fuse, smoke, pause. So pause this. On this fuse layer, I don't think we need to draw anything more, but it has to be timed with the bomb itself. And this pause layer should coincide with the timing. So what do I want? Do I want 8-frame pause? That's 1/3 of a second. Do I want 2 frames? That's 2/3 of a second. 16 frames or 24 frames of nothing. So between this frame right here and the place where the bomb actually disappears, I want to add frames so that this is 24 frames or something close to it. So 24 frames looks like it's about that much. So somewhere right around there. Now what I want to do is I want to look at this frame right here, because this is where our explosion part starts. So I'm going to, oops, hold on. I'm going to add this so it's synced up with the actual bomb itself. So right here is where the new background starts. So let's take a look at that to make sure that the timing is okay. We've got the fuse, the sparks, the smoke, the pause, and then the explosion. Okay, so that part was easy. Just follow along with the video, or like I was just doing it right there, and get the thing to explode. All right, so on the bomb layer, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a drawing, and I'm gonna take the next frame, which is copying all these, and I'm gonna bring it all the way back down to 2s or 1s. All right, and I don't know why it doesn't match this one, but let me take this one up. The bomb exploding should coincide with the new background. Perfect. So on this drawing right here of the bomb, I want to bring it down to just start with 2 frames and see what the timing looks like. And we'll go back and look at our explosion. So we start with this big star right here. So as soon as the bomb explodes, we'll switch to a yellow shape, a really bright yellow shape. This is fine. So starting from the center, we're just going to give ourselves a really big hot flash. In the past, students have copy and pasted the flash and drawn it just bigger in the next frame, which you can certainly do that. And what I'm going to do with this new background here is I'm going to actually delay it by just a couple of frames because I don't want to see the ground exploding too far. I'm going to add a drawing after my flash, and now I'm just going to make this thing huge. Now, you go look at the sequence, but for here, I'm going to make it just really big. I'm going to paint it. Oop. Oop, something's wrong. What's going on here? Maybe right there. Okay, good. Go back, paint this one. Okay, now go here, add a drawing after. Look at our sequencing. So now it starts another flash in the middle. So now just completely opposite. Sometimes it's good to know where the bomb was, but in this case, this is going to be fine. With our same yellow color, we're going to start a new flash in slightly different place. Paint it while you're at it. Make sure the shape is closed. Oh, it's not closed yet. It's right here. Okay, and then another one. Oh, it's not taking my command. Okay, there we go. Now make this one, look at our sequencing and make this one really big. All right, then there's a little bit of magic that happens in the next frame. All right, so I'm going to bucket this. Hopefully it'll bucket cleanly. Good. All right, so now on this frame right here, what we're going to do is we're going to add a drawing after, and we're going to paint this whole frame black. And now I'm going to take this down to 1, and we're going to add another drawing afterwards. And we're going to paint this one completely white. We're going to try to get as white as possible. Paint it white. Add a drawing afterwards. Paint it black. Add a drawing afterwards and paint it white. All right, perfect. Let's see what we've got. We've already got like most of the explosion. So let's play this. Fuse, a little bit of smoke, and then the explosion, the black and white switch, black, white, is the whole selling point of the explosion itself. All right, so I'm not quite sure that I like it going from, let's turn our onion opacity down just a little bit. So I think that what I want to do is I want it to have this frame right here. I think what I want to do is make it really small. And I'm going to rotate it a little bit, because what I was seeing was that it was just kind of, it was flashing on me, which is okay, but I want it to flash a little differently. Like that. All right, let's see what it looks like now. Okay, so that looks a little better. I like that little flash, especially the black, white, black, white. All right, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to my reference and add these little bits of these little bits exploding off here. There's only 3 drawings. We just got to make sure that they're in the right place. So on this drawing, so this drawing here could use some shards. Let's use our pencil and our black. And here we're just going to have the shapes that we just saw in our mind's eye. It's just the thickness of the sphere that is breaking away. And they don't all have to be the same kind of shape. It can be a little bit irregular. Maybe one more down here. The idea is that it's moving very, very quickly. So it's broken away from the bomb itself, from the center, and now it's coming out here and going off the screen. This one, it's coming up here. Just keep it right like that. This one is going over here. This one. This one might just see a little bit of it down here. I think we're going to need one more, especially like right here, just to make it go off the screen, especially this one. And maybe not that one. All right, let's see what that looks like. So that's just the shards of the bomb that are going away. Okay, so that looks good. All right, so now we don't need this flash layer. We're just going to call this smoke. And we're almost done. We're only a half hour in here and we're almost done with it. All right, so on this smoke layer, if I took all this all the way out here, I'm just changing my mind as I'm doing it. I would realize that it would be at or around frame 108, and then I'd have to redirect the timing. Instead, I think what I'm going to do is just put the smoke right on top of this. So we've got white frame, black frame, white frame, add another drawing after, and we're just going to have to get some smoke to dissipate. So let's see what that smoke looks like. We can start the smoke on one of these earlier frames if we really want. So right here, I'm going to take my onion skin off. And I'm just going to look and see what that looks like. There's an interior flash. So this is like the most forgiving project ever. So we've got the flash of white frame, black frame. We could just start drawing a little bit of smoke clearing right here. So in our black, right from where this used to be with our layout, oh, the layout is. So we want to get this shape right here, this shape of the smoke. So let's just start the smoke a little smaller. And we're just gonna give ourselves some big, small, medium, just a variety of shapes right here. This is the first smoke flash that comes off of the breaking apart of the metal. That's all it is. So that's just a solid shape. And we're gonna apply the paint that white. Oh, I think I drew it on the wrong layer. Hold on a second. I'm gonna Z back out of this. I want to be here when I'm drawing that. All right, so it's fine. So we want to hit this shape from the layout on the fuse and smoke layer. So I want a medium, small, bigger, medium, small. Make sure the paints are shapes are paintable as you're drawing them. It'll save you a little bit of time. So just that shape, add a drawing after. Now we can kind of turn our onion skin back on to see where we were. Now we're going to try to hit the shape from the layout. So just kind of see what the smoke looks like. I'm giving my own like interpretation right here. And again, I'm just giving myself a variety of shapes. Big, small, medium. All right, and then on the next one, let's get this open shape in here. So now I want it to progress outwards. I can't see the drawing before it. There we go. So I want it to move about the same distance, but the smoke at this point is also already starting to break apart. So go ahead and get the interior shape. So you see this interior shape is like facing this way. Oh, let me do it this way. It's facing this way. All right, then do one over here. And one down here. I'm going to go off the screen, and then just another one over here. So a little shape, a medium shape, small shape, big, medium, small. One more drawing. Didn't take it. One more drawing. Okay. So now just get this and dissipate it really quickly. So get this shape to come up, and it's going to break apart already. This shape right here is just going to come up and break apart into a couple of little pieces. This is going to go over here, break into a couple of little pieces. This part down here, it's moving. This is gunpowder, so it just kind of just explodes and vaporizes and goes away. Might slow down a little bit in the next frame. I realized that those drawings here should be on the previous drawing. So I'm going to copy these, delete them, paste them, and now just dissipate the little puffs of smoke. This one doesn't give you clear, this one looks okay, but just a little clear indication of what these smaller shapes would look like. You can always do a rough version and tweak it later. One more drawing.
Sorry to interrupt. I think someone's in the waiting room.
Oh, sorry, Angel. Thank you. All right, and then just maybe 2 shapes over here. Next drawing. And maybe 1 more. Just right there. Save it. I don't think we've saved yet. Billy B _ bomb to the desktop. And let's play it. This took us exactly 45 minutes. Pause, smoke, bomb, explosion. Right, so it's pretty much just that easy. It's a big flash of yellow, another flash of yellow, and then black, white, and then the smoke clears. The smoke might be clearing just a little fast. For me, it looks a little fast. So I'm going to go back and see what happens if I put each one of the smoke layers on 3s. So I'm just going to go 3 frames, next drawing, 3 frames, next frame. All right, so we just added a bunch of frames to the smoke. Let's see what that looks like. Pause, then the explosion, and then the smoke. Let's see, this is moving a little better. Let's see what it looks like on 4s. I think it looks better on 4s. So what this is interesting to me, that you've got the fuse happening on 2s. You've got that smoke happening on 4s, a pause. And then you've got the flash happening on 2s, then the black and white happening on 1s, and then the smoke that's clearing happening on 4s again. So that kind of variety of timing is nice. Let's take a look and make sure that our background wound up in the right place. Yeah, I think it wound up in the right place. All right, so let's stop that playback. And let's just look at this frame by frame. Explosion, and the new background is there. Okay, so that's good. So that's just a real quick and easy, dirty way to make an explosion. But I think that what really sells it is the variety of timing. You're welcome to copy these frames. They'll work. In this example here from the John Hallis book, he's just got 1 black frame, and that would work too. In ours, we have black, white, that works. But he's just got 1 black frame. There's all kinds of things that will work right there. Black, white works. Black, white, black works. There's any kind of combination works right here. It's interesting just in terms of production value. It actually just works pretty well. And I think that it makes sense to have an easy project like this with the fuse that borrows just a little bit of the technique that we used for our pixie dust, because that just makes sense. And if I look at my list, the only thing that I have on my list that is still a special effect would be a water splash. And we can do that next week. It's fun. It's not hard at all. You just kind of have to follow the rules of art, and you've got it. Timing out a water splash is actually pretty easy. And then we'll get into a bit of cycling animation with the car and the road. That's always a classic project. And then we'll spend a couple weeks on the walk, a couple weeks on the run, and then their final is going to be a run, jump, catch, or a jump, catch, run. And that's always a very typical final for a class like this. All right, do I have any questions? Explosion, bomb explosion. I think it's a really great place
Bomb
to put
explosion
in.
due next week, or is it due in 2 weeks?
Do we have spring break?
I gotta be honest, I'm real booked.
No, we don't
So-
have spring break for a couple weeks, so this is easy. Just do this for next week and it's easy enough that you can get caught up on the fire, smoke, and pixie dust. Right? Yes, yes, yes. Carmen saying yes. So Carmen, you're saying yes for
Yes.
everybody. Still saying yes for everybody.
I'm glad
All
you
right.
all feel so confident.
Aye, aye, Captain.
All right, make it explode, shiver me timbers. And I think I was explaining that to my high school class the other day that when a cannonball would hit the ship, the timber would just explode. The wood from the ship would explode, and shiver me timbers is actually the idea of wood exploding. And he's just, he can't handle it because if the wood of the ship is exploding, it could sink. Shiver me timbers. All right. Do I have any questions, comments, complaints, conundrums, criticisms? All right, so this is an easy one. It gives you a chance to finish up your pixie dust if you need it, or your smoke if you need it, or your fire if you need it. And remember that those shells are open for the duration of the semester. I do not remember that if you put something on top of, if you add a file into that same folder, that it alerts me that, hey, Billy, there's something new right there. I don't remember. So next week when we get into critiques, just let me know. If you've got a new smoke or a new fire or a new pixie dust, just let me know and we'll go through those critiques. But you know you're doing the bomb right if you're having fun with it. Oh, and you don't have to explode a bomb. You can explode a rubber duck. You can explode anything you want. You can explode a plant. You can explode a picture of your mom. I'm trying to get Deborah to laugh. You can explode a picture of your brother.
Can I do a picture of you?
Yeah, if you want. Screen grab. In previous examples of this effect, I've had students pause at the end of what we have right here for a solid 2 seconds before the shards of the bomb start falling back down. You can do that if you want. It's not necessary. This is just an experiment with timing so that you're mixing up 4s and 1s and 2s and just have fun with that. You saw me changing out that timing a little bit as I was doing it to give you an idea of the best timing. So that's a key element there, is you're really playing with timing. And just draw a single line for the smoke. Don't go crazy, just get a little curl like you're putting out a match. And it's just a little wisp of a smoke. Okay? I'll let everybody out a little early. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Billy.
Okay, ciao for
Thank
now.
you,
Thank
Billy.
you, Billy.
Okay, ciao for now.